In this video I'm going to show you the editing which I'm doing to a bunch of photos which I took today. A shot, what did I do? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, I did 5 houses, but one house I went back to twice. So I went in the morning to get the front shots and I went back in the afternoon to get the sun hitting the back of the house. So I'm just going to, this is just me editing them, so if you're not interested or you've got something better to do, I understand. This is one of those long form videos, just sit back, relax, listen to my beautiful voice, and see if we can make these photos any good. So, yeah, so this was a nice one which has been dressed inside. Usually for the outside, it's just a case of highlights down, shadows up, exposure up, clarity up, vibrance up, blues down, no, for the saturation, blues up, luminance, blues down a little bit. That looks like it's totally whacked out colour balance. So I'll bring there's nothing that's actually white apart from these stained walls. That gives it a very warm colour, but that's sorted out the purple, so that's looking okay. Let's just bring the white balance temperature down a little bit. I'm fairly happy with that. If I use my normal preset, yeah, normal preset isn't as good as that, so I'll stay with what I've got. And then it's just a simple case of auto to, so this is the kind of courtyard part outside the front. What I would say is actually I'm just going to increase exposure even more. Yeah, because all we need to know is that the sky is just a little bit blue. It doesn't need to be deep, dark blue. Sometimes people have it dramatic blue, and it's like you don't need to do that. So otherwise, I'm quite happy with that. One thing I might do is the green saturation. Keep that down just a touch. Okay, happy with that external. So because this is pretty much the same shot but from a slightly different angle, for the next 2 shots actually, I'm just going to sync all the settings going on there. Synchronize those. So here I've got that. If we can see before and after, good bit of editing going on there. Happy with that. And then the other shot, yeah, like that. Okay, so what I need to do though is on this last shot I need to update the auto straightening. That looks good. This bit is definitely super blue, so I'm actually just going to bring the brush in and brush over that area and just bring in the custom white balance up so it's a bit warmer. That gets rid of the blue a bit. Maybe the exposure up a little bit as well. So that looks good. There in total, maybe it's a little bit too bright, but otherwise I think that looks quite nice. Let's see the before and after. Big difference, big difference. I did that with the door open. Some houses better with the door shut. I think I've got this again later on after shooting it all with the door closed as well. But sometimes I think having the door open is a nice inviting look, especially if it's nice and safe enough for you to have little chairs and tables right out the front. There is crap in the corner. Didn't see that at the time. Some people have questions about whether you should Photoshop things out. If they are temporary or if they're just dirt or dust or something, then yeah, you can Photoshop that out. If it's structural, then don't. Or if it is in any way... Ooh, there's a bit of chromatic aberration going on up here. Let's go to lens corrections. Defringe. That worked. That worked. In fact, is there a profile? Yeah, just remove chromatic aberrations. Good, that looks good. I'll just do the same with the... because you can see the bit of purple going on there. Oh, look at the blue. Strong blue. Press the button. It's still pretty blue. Let's go back to manual again. Defringe. It's kind of helped. Not perfect. Probably just a bit too much saturation. Okay, so the first room in here, this was a case of the door kept on swinging open, so I was rushing into position each time to get the shot with the door. You don't want it completely open because then it's really just a picture of the door. You want it where you're see more edge on. So yeah, happy with that angle. If I did auto straighten, it wouldn't work because this, what do you call it, this shelves system is at an angle. So I need to manually figure out how we get this totally straight. Bring the vertical, do a crop on both sides. That is good. There. Okay, in terms of white balance, now if I made this a correct white balance, that would be wrong. So in other words, that wouldn't look so good. So I've white balanced off this area here, so I think I just need to warm up because these are warm lights in the room. You don't want any bit to look cold. So now exposure wise, highlights, there's not really highlights apart from the lamp, so they're meant to be bright, but shadows, and I might just bring the exposure up a touch, and then once you do that, you see that the white balance maybe does need to go down a little bit. So yeah, shadows and exposure up just a little bit clarity. Clarity is always good. And then here is from the same room, different angle. See me, I'm there in my jacket. It was quite cold. It's a house that nobody's living in. And it was a bit chilly. So the other shot I'm going to use is this one. I'm just going to sync over all the settings, apart from the crop and the straighten. That's the only thing that hasn't been changed. But it seems like it has added the crop and the straighten. That's annoying. It's not meant to do that. But let's just see what that's like. That seems pretty straight. Need it maybe a bit more there. But white balance and brightness, exposure areas mostly in the right hand side to make it a nice bright, inviting image. Maybe contrast up just a touch. Yep, happy with that. You can see me in the camera there. Okay, I'm gonna give it a crop in. Done. Yeah, happy with that. Hold on, let's just see. What did that one look like? What was the before and after? Probably not much of a difference. Not much of it. Is that the outside is probably the biggest exposure differences. And then here's inside again. Let's just copy over the settings. What are we needing to move? Transform upright. Transform adjustments. Yeah, I think that's what I need to not sync. Yep, that looks nice there. Pick that one. Cool. Happy with that. Now, the white balance in these rooms are a nightmare because you've got a house which is it was a bright sunny day, but it's in a cellar area, so the shadow light that you get is very, very blue. The internal lights are very, very orange, so you're really fighting. Okay, so the temperature, the Kelvin of the lights, these orange ones are around about 3000. Very, you'd call it it's a warm color, but it's a cool. It's a warm, but it's a cool temperature, so it's orangey. Like there, it's a very high temperature, so that'd be around about 7,000-8,000. Meanwhile, my flash is 5,000. So the flash is in the middle, surrounded by two completely opposite flashes. What I will do though is saturation. There's nothing in here that really needs to be blue, so I'll go into HSL, saturation, blue. I won't take it all the way down because it is a little bit in the shadow, but just having it so outside isn't this bright blue area. Totally unnecessary. And then let's bring the highlights down. Exposure up. White balance, there's a bit too much purple. Let's bring the purple down a touch. And that's looking a bit more realistic. Yeah, we could do a white balance picker off somewhere on these were white sheets. It's always good to remember what was actually white. Although it just seems to be an exposure difference, it doesn't seem to be a color difference going on there. So yeah, there it's brought down the purple down a bit too much. But yeah, that's not too bad. Happy with that. Maybe highlights up, and contrast a good section, because that's a nice contrasty image. I might bring clarity up as well. Cool. And last bit would be just bringing the top down just a touch. So yeah, it looks like mostly my flash has controlled the image exposure there. Let's see what was it like before and after. It's not a huge difference. If anything, I want to bring up the shadows a bit more. Yeah, cool. Happy with that. So this one room's got 4 angles to shoot. So angle 1 is from the door, showing the bed. You can show the wardrobes, shows the window. Angle 2 shows that there's wardrobes at the back of the room, but there's also a door to something. This is actually not a very good angle. Although it's showing off the bed nicely, it doesn't really give you much more information about the room, apart from there's something back here. The better angle is possibly this one, which I think I've got a better shot here. So here you can see the door into the... We can now see it's a shower room. We can now see the extra wardrobe space, and we can see the entrance door, and you can see that there's that the place clearly has gas central heating going on in the room. But I'm effectively standing at the blue light coming in from the shaded area from outside, with orange lights in there using flash. Right, if we do the... see, this is the thing. If you do the temperature picker, and you do it to make the white sheets white, because the whiteness here is based on the blue light coming from outside, it makes everything almost urine colour orange. So that's a nightmare. So the bed sheets are going to have to be a bit blue, but what we'll do is I'll bring the saturation down of the blue. In fact, we can bring that right down. Bring it down, highlights down a bit, exposure up, contrast up, shadows up, clarity up. Okay, and then, because you don't want to look at like it's wonky angle, I'm just going to give an auto straightening. That does a good job. And we're going to crop off a bit of the top. You don't need to see the empty ceiling area, but it's still very orange. So although this angle gives a lot of information, it's just a terrible colour. If I were to do white balance off the door, which is also white, that's terrible. There isn't a pleasing... Okay, white balance off the radiator, that would be so blue. Off this black rug, that would be terrible as well. Off the underside of this lamp, that's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Just give it a little... You don't want it to look cold, that's the thing. You don't want to look at... Especially in a Scottish house. Alright, we'll just leave it as that. Not do too much more to that one. And then this angle, showing the entrance of the door again. So that was the one making sure that was in the right position as the door was slowly starting to swing open. So just check the tint, temperature, bring the highlights down, bring the saturation of the blues down, because there's nothing else that's really blue apart from this vase going on here. Shadows up, whites up, contrast up, exposure up just a touch. If we bring the... Yeah, I just don't want it to look too dark. We kind of really want it to be in the warm area, or in the bright area. I would say that's better. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, before and after. Far more inviting. How can I get rid of... Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, the bathroom. No, this is the ensuite. Check it out when you have the white balance totally wrong. Let's see, white balance off the toilet. 1,000,000 times better. Let's see, there's one where I sorted out for the flash. Get rid of that. Okay, white balance off the toilet. That looks okay. I might still reduce the saturation of the blue again because there just shouldn't be any blue in there. Auto rotate. Auto straighten even. Clarity up. Yeah, that's good. Shadows up, highlights down a little bit. That's cool. Happy with that. Nice one. Let's just have a quick look at what it looked like before and after. Before, it looked like it had a tobacco stain. Afterwards, it looks a bit cold. Maybe just bring it up to 4. Yeah, cool. Not huge differences, but you're just doing that little thing to get it back. So the last angle, this one doesn't work, is from the toilet, or from the shower, into the bedroom. Where to white balance this? I'll click on my property preset that I've got. And yeah, saturation. Can we bring the saturation of the orange down? I think we almost need to change the hue of the orange as well. So, yeah, a little bit more yellow. That helps it out a little bit. Okay, so highlights up a little bit. White balance down. Let's just white balance off the toilet. Okay, that is pretty darn blue. If we're going to do that, might as well make it bright. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Could have been worse. Contrast up. Before and after. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. If I do say so myself. The bathroom, no flash using this one, just because using flash would have been a nightmare. Let's go auto white balance. Still, well, let's just brighten it up. Ooh, not that bright. I think we're at pretty high ISO. No, 1200 ISO. Highlights down. Right, I'm going to white balance off this white sink. There, that's better. But that's so blue or so white from the light up there. Bring it up just a little bit. Cool, happy with that. Yeah, go with that. Don't need to do any straightening. That's the good thing about the Panasonic cameras is that they've got it shows you the, what do you call it, spirit level going on. So very well dressed. Just this is how you're meant to dress a house. Looks good. Getting a shot from both sides of the dining table. This one gives you a little bit more information because it gives you the idea of that's the kitchen at the back. But again, some clients just want all the images. Oh, you can almost see you can see into the kitchen out the back there as well. So white balance. Let's see what it says for auto. Not too bad. Let's brighten it up. Highlights down. The saturation of the blues down. Maybe also just brighten them up a wee bit. You don't want them to be a dark shadow. Let's not desaturate them too much. Clarity up, and let's just give it a little bit of warmth. You don't want it to be cold again. Now, I'm now at a stage where I'm getting colour blindness, as in, if you edit too many photos in one go, you end up losing colour sensitivity, or I've done a video about this in the past. Like, I ended up editing so many photos that it started off they're all like, hey, nice, looking normal, and then by the end they were so saturated and like mental colours. It just looked terrible. It was like, what happened? Your eyes just get, because usually you're so focused and so looking so closely at the image that you end up just getting eyeball tiredness. I don't know if that's an actual thing. And you just end up either overexposing or underexposing or oversaturating, or everything's just got this crazy colour to it. So I'm getting at that stage just now, but I would say that looks, let's bring shadows up. I say bring whites up. Maybe don't bring the highlights up. The highlights all the way down is not too bad. Might just bring that down and that up. So that's why having the before and after is definitely good. Oh yes, that's a million times better. That is a million times better. And you know what? That's so much better. I'm literally just going to sync that setting because I can see in the timeline at the bottom here, they're pretty much all the same. So I'm just going to go sync, and hopefully down at the bottom here, they all sort of look a little bit better. But what's going to happen is I go away from this. I just need to give my eyeballs a break, my brain a break. I've only been doing for like 30 minutes or so. I just need to come back with some fresh eyes. So I'm going to go look at some investments that I've got somewhere else. Okay, so that's some of the editing that I've been doing, and that's how I do it. And that's probably the most important advice is stop editing every so often. Look at something else. Look at the sunset. That's a much better idea. Okay, see you guys later. Bye-bye.